Set in the 1940s through the 1960s, The Shawshank Redemption is an emotional and thrilling tale of the harsh prison life of the mid-20th century, the prisoners who want to be free and those who don't. The Shawshank Redemption is one of the most critically acclaimed and highly regarded films of modern cinema, and by extension, all cinema. While at the time of its release in 1995 it did not see great financial success, over the years opinion has been molded and it is considered a masterpiece film. It follows the story of a wrongly accused Andy Dufresne and his prison pal Red as they go through the motions of life inside the walls. Andy faces many obstacles on his way to freedom, both by inmates and authority, namely the warden. The warden is a strict religious man who imposes an authoritative and tyrannical rule over the prison, who also operates illegal businesses. Andy gets caught up in this, being the brightest among both prisoners and guards alike, becoming the warden's pet who runs the papers behind the business. This is not the whole story, however, as The Shawshank Redemption follows Andy's adaptation and inability to conform to the regular prison life, often breaking many rules and being persistent.
Open it up!
However, some way into the film, Andy finally gets a lead on who actually killed his wife and her lover. This is shot down by the warden, who wants to keep Andy in his place where he isn't at risk of spilling the beans on the illegal ongoings of Shawshank.
Solitary, a month.
Yes, sir. Hi. What's the matter with you?
Get him out of here.
Come, this is my chance to get out. Don't you see that? It's my life. Don't you understand? It's my life.
Get him out. Get him
It's
out!
my life.
Sometime later, Andy concocts a plan to escape to a tunnel he had dug over his 19-year stay. The warden ends up killing himself, and with Red finally getting his parole. The end of the film shows Andy and Red coming together on a far-off beach somewhere by the Pacific Ocean. In the film, many themes and motifs are expressed through the film languages in the story. Particularly, themes of confinement and institutionalization are the most prominent. While these may seem like face-value themes, there is actually a lot that goes on in The Shawshank Redemption that clearly expresses very specific and subtle hints that make an audience understand this. Confinement is mostly shown through the lighting and color, and mise-en-scene, where institutionalization is shown through the story and time temporality. There are many points in this film to analyze for these two themes, which are conveyed to the audience through these techniques. We'll be examining these and pairing the techniques with the themes of the film ahead. Confinement, by dictionary terms, is seen as the act of confining someone or something. In The Shawshank Redemption, this is especially prominent because of its setting. There might not be a better application of the word, as this premise sets up literal walls and cells that the characters are placed in, which is the groundwork of the film. Above face value, however, confinement is seen throughout the film mostly through the use of lighting and color and mise-en-scene. These are both visual elements of the film, which clearly express this particular theme. There are many points in the film, especially near the start when Andy is a new prisoner, where the lighting and color grade is very somber and dull. The lighting in the prison environment is very dim, almost fluorescent, which creates a very clinical and sterile look. This is amplified by the dull backdrop of everything surrounding the lights, such as the grey seen on the prison walls, the faded grass in the yard, and also the prison uniforms, which use different shades of blue on the pants and the shirts. All of this in conjunction adds to the atmosphere of creating a day-in, day-out prisoner life, which can be seen as a confining way of life because of the systems of normality set in place in an institution. This leads into mise-en-scene very well, as many of these examples are applicable to both this and lighting and color. They are both core visual elements that express a film's subtext, and in Shawshank's case, confinement. Confinement is seen in the mise-en-scene almost all the time, as we see many aspects of the prison life represented in the props, clothing, and effects. Like before, the prison uniform is seen as very complimentary when in reference to the prison institutions, as well as the all-black yard uniforms that represent authority. Confinement is also transparent in the structure of the jail cells, which are very small and even too low in Andy's case. Everything in Shawshank seems to be very square and dull, and the only fluttering section is the revamped library. Mise-en-scene very clearly portrays confinement within this film, and this is perhaps even more transparent than lighting and colour, as it literally refers to what audiences see on screen being everything the prison and the characters make up. Institutionalization, the other prominent theme in The Shawshank Redemption, is seen as the process of embedding some conception, for example, a belief, norm, social role, particular value, or mode of behavior, within an organization, social system, or society as a whole. In this film's case, institutionalization refers to prisoners as they adapt to the systems inside a prison and stay there so long that these become normal for them, which makes it difficult to adjust to the outside world once they are released. This theme is most frequently seen in the film's story and also through the use of time, both of which will be discussed further. Institutionalization is clearly represented in the story of The Shawshank Redemption, most obviously through Brooks' story. Brooks has been in Shawshank for most of his adult life and is an old man by the time he gets out. During his stay, he adopts a wounded crow, which is just one look at his unique behavior and inability to conform. Shortly after his release, he ends up hanging himself, as he cannot cope with this new world. This is clear proof of institutionalization, as he is used to the prison system. To further prove this, Brooks said shortly before he dies that,
I can't believe how fast things move on the outside. I saw an automobile once when I was a kid, but now they're everywhere.
Brooks is not used to life outside the prison, as it has not taught him what it is like outside the walls. Also, it is explicitly stated by Red that
Brooks ain't no bug. It's just institutionalized. But I'm telling you, these walls are funny. First you hate them, then you get used to them. Enough time passes, you get so you depend on them. That's institutionalized.
time is also a large factor that plays with institutionalization, as there are many planes for this. For the temporal duration, the film is long to start with, being 2 hours and 22 minutes, so it can make many intervals throughout the length without spreading itself too thin. The story takes place over 20 years and the plot happens in some of the moments or highlights of those 20 years. For temporal order, most of the film is chronologically correct. Almost all of the film is set in forward motion, with some events like Andy's flashbacks the night his wife and her lover were killed, and also Andy's escape from Shawshank State Penitentiary. Temporal frequency is also generally consistent, only playing most clips once, with some exceptions. These exceptions take place near the end after Andy has escaped and Red is narrating when he talks about the escape. Notably, the film revisits certain points, like when Andy switches the books to give to the warden, and also him chipping away at the wall near the start of the film. These parts are relived so that the audience can understand Andy's motives and trickery. The use of time in this film adds a very slow process which we can see the characters change over the 20-year span. Their attitudes change as they become more dependent on the prison life as they start to accept it as a norm. This of course represents the institutionalization of Andy, Red, and their friends at Shawshank. The Shawshank Redemption uses many different techniques in its themes of confinement and institutionalization. These include lighting and colour and mise-en-scene for confinement, and story and time temporal for institutionalization. It uses these techniques in the correct manner which can be credited to the film's success. While general audiences may not initially realize the value of these themes, especially as they are taken at face value on the outside, there is actually a lot that goes on behind the scenes that impact an audience's viewing experience. Thank you for watching.
We sat and drank with the sun on our shoulders and felt like free men.